What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Bonus Point Rugby Show. My name is TJ Olsen, and great to have you with us for another episode of the pod. We have a lot going on this week. We have Super Rugby Pacific Finals, Chiefs playing Crusaders. We have the first test match of the British and Irish Lions against Argentina. We have the Wallabies Squad named. We have some devastating but understanding news coming out of Moana Pacifica's camp with one of their biggest players, if not their biggest player. And also, we're going to be chatting about our predictions, who's going to be winning in the Super Rugby Pacific Final, why, what their home advantage is going to do for the Crusaders. And finally, we're going to be chatting about some comments that came out about Premiership Rugby over in the UK versus Super Rugby and which competition is superior. Like I said, lots to unpack here. Really excited to jump straight in the program. So let's rip in. This is the Bonus Point Rugby Show. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Bonus Point Rugby Show, your front row seat to all things rugby. I'm your host, TJ Olsen, and today we're diving headfirst in the biggest match of the Super Rugby Pacific season, the 2025 Grand Final between the Chiefs and the Crusaders. Two powerhouses, one trophy, whole lot of history between them. Can't wait. Joining me today is a man who knows these teams inside and out and is just as excited for this matchup as I am. We have Tavita Halafia back. What's up, brother? How we doing?
What's up? Let's go Crusaders. Wait, whoa. Wait, what? All right, take that. I don't know what just happened there. I'm starting with the
Just because Moana get bounced, you go and jump on the Crusaders train. Jeez.
Mate, I'm just trying to get saucy for the people. You know what I'm saying? We all know who you're going for. I'm just getting saucy for the people, Vas.
And the OG jersey right here. No, great to be here. This is what it's all about. Finals footy, two absolute juggernauts. Not something that we're super surprised about. I'm pretty surprised that we're seeing the Crusaders in a final this season. But it's if any team can start off the way they did and power through, it's got to be the Crusaders.
Yeah, of course. And, people are talking about, the Crusaders' legacy, but I don't want to take away or diminish what this new look Crusaders, from top to bottom looks like. They've done it the hard way. And, while that jersey is, a legacy jersey, I think we need to acknowledge how the Crusaders have gone about their business this season and what they've had to overcome to make the final, because it definitely wasn't easy for them. It wasn't like they ran and won every weekend. Do you know what I mean? They've come back and they've really shown how deep their depth is, and how good they can overcome. But it's a new look legacy team, I think. And they deserve all the flowers. The Chiefs is just we knew they were going to be there. There was no chance of them not making there's always a chance, but they just looked incredible all season.
Yeah, I feel like there is always a chance, but yes, I think it's something you're 100% right. They've pulled rabbits out of their hat. They've had some players that have really shown up in crucial positions. They've had a halfback trio that's been playing out of their skin this year. When you were thinking you've got these other players like Bryn Hall and other people heading offshore to go play in different places. So it's pretty exciting to see that. But one matchup I'm really excited to watch is Damian McKenzie versus Rivers Reihana. I think obviously Damian McKenzie, the potential incumbent 10 coming to the All Blacks, are very experienced, very, very flashy player with a lot of different skills. But Rivers Reihana, he's come into his own. He's shown a lot for that jersey, especially when he's had other players like Jock and Taha Kimura competing. What do you think about that matchup coming up this weekend?
Well, it's the young versus the old. And if we're going to watch history, the young seem to prevail more often than not. Do you know what I mean? So it's we got two lines in there. One's just more seasoned than the other. So, if you put them in a arena, who's going to win? It's, Rivers' tricks and how he plays is different to D-Max. Do you know what I mean? I think D-Max gone to another level this year, but, to be the devil's advocate, coming into this clash, he's got everything to lose. Do you know what I mean? If he has a bad game and Chiefs lose, it's gonna be on him more often than you'd have to say. This is he's calm, collected. He's had to play a few tough games this year, so I think the young versus the old. So if you're gonna call D-Mac old, is I like this matchup personally. I think Rivers is gonna play good for 50-60 minutes. D-Mac most probably, if he takes control early, it's gonna be a long day at the office for him.
So the one thing that I think personally is the game plan that'll set the Chiefs apart if they do this correctly is going to be the tactical kicking game. I think what you saw a lot from the Crusaders, especially against the Blues, is they brought a lot of heavy line speed and they brought a lot of pressure around their defensive structure, and they can obviously play the turnover game and capitalize off mistakes that like teams make. But I sincerely think that it's going to be about us putting the ball down toward their back three, keeping their defensive line moving, and utilizing their kicking strategy from a tactics perspective with your Sean Stevensons, with your wingers, with your Damian McKenzie's, and keeping that strategy going. So do you agree with that? That would being the best structural tactic, or would you say that this battle is going to be one up front?
No, I totally agree. I think we're going to see the ball in the air, hanging for a little bit. They're really going to put that back three. They're going to want to tire out the back three for the Crusaders. I think the Chiefs really, they know come point of contact that they can win those one-on-one encounters. So I think they're going to go high and they're going to go long and really push them back. Just make the back three drop a little bit so that they then can start running those second man plays, from their half, that 50 onwards. So I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think that's where the game will be won or lost. And the pressure's on the Crusaders on that one. It's not the Chiefs. The Chiefs have proven this whole season, hey, we know what we're doing. Do you?
They're just sitting there, just waiting to see how they perform and how they go. So yeah, I think, although I am disappointed to not see Rampling named off the bench because he's had a cracker of a season. I think he's been playing out of his skin. He's been very physical and he's been showing a lot of players he deserves to be in that 23. I think having the Nanai Saturo coming off the bench with that humongous boot he's got and that style and the wicked stepping game, I think that's going to come in handy. But Crusaders also have some pretty handy outside backs as well. So back three, who are you picking? You've got Savea Reese and you've got Will Jordan. You've got some really flashy players on the Crusaders side as well. Back three, comparatively, who are you picking in that battle?
As in, who do I think is going to win?
Yeah.
Well, it would depend on the frequency of how much they go to the air in that first 20 minutes. If they go to the air the first 20 minutes, which I think they're going to kick out of their half the whole first quarter. I don't like Reese dealing with it too well. Will Jordan's just a freak though, so I don't think they're kicking to him at all.
They're just like punching as many corners away from it as possible.
They really will. They're gonna back. I think Stevenson's gonna back himself in the air a lot. So I think you might see a lot of midfield. So it's gonna be really interesting. I'm definitely leaning towards Chiefs. I mean, I'll be straight up, even though it's not the end of the show to do predictions. I think the Chiefs wipe the floor with the Crusaders. And I think it's going to be similar to what I said to you last week. I think it'd be nice. First 40, 50 minutes is going to be good. And then the Chiefs are just going to run away with it. I think the Chiefs just have way too much firepower and way too much fitness and explosiveness in that last quarter of the game. So, that first 20, I think they're just going to go to the air. They're going to punch. They're just going to have the back three running forward, running back, running forward, running back, going up. And I just don't think the Crusaders have the ability to do that, or the back three, the ability all game, and it's going to open up through that middle there.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. Okay, well, we wouldn't be chatting about the Crusaders aura if we weren't chatting about the home field advantage and the record that they've got at the moment. So one thing I found very funny this week is that the Crusaders have banned all the cowbells that are coming in. They like seeing that. I was like, come on, like you just give us something. Come on, that's like our staple.
Yeah, look, well played. Chess, not checkers. Do you know what I mean? It's like NBA, right? When you're courtside and you're from the away team, usually you don't have anyone courtside. Do you know what I mean? So, look, I applaud it. I'm here for all the tactics. Do you know what I mean? Do what you can. I guarantee you there'll be at least 100 cowbells somewhere stuffed down pants though. Like I guarantee you we're going to hear it during the broadcast. You can tell them not to do it. They'll find a way, bruh. Like, let me tell you, Chiefs fans are something else, man, out of this world,
I'm imagining like all the technological ways that you could do it. Like if you can't bring a physical cowbell in, someone bringing in like a portable Bose speaker or something and getting a cowbell on on a YouTube or something, just going like that.
Dude, I've got a Sonos speaker, a little one that you can have 6 of them all the way around. Russ, you're good. Just link them before you go in, and brother, you are fine.
And yeah, no, when I saw that, I was like, okay, You guys are scared. You're trying to get everything taken away. I see you. I see you.
No, but I mean, no joke. I think that they know what the Chiefs, like I said at the beginning of the episode, the Chiefs, bro, you can't tell me there's anyone that honestly thinks Chiefs shouldn't be the favorites to win. Even as a Crusaders fan, you got to be like, look, yeah, they're probably going to win. Do you know what I mean? So by all means, take advantage, do it. Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, they brought the tally to 31-0 as of last week once they beat the Blues at home. I think it's definitely going to be that difficult to win at home, but I think if anybody can do it, it's got to be this Chiefs team. They're just on paper, they are the favorites to go down and get the job done. So we got to see what is happening.
Hey, like they say in boxing, that O's got to go. And this weekend, I believe it will happen. I know it'll happen. I don't believe in the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs will win.
Yeah, no. Okay, cool. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we are going to chat about our next story, which is all about Moana Pacifica. Surprise, surprise. The two Polynesians are talking about Moana Pacifica again. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So instead of us doing a lightning quick recap at the start of the show, I did want to chat about one particularly interesting story, and that's about the British and Irish Lions tour. So we have been talking a lot about the British and Irish Lions tour. They have finally named the starting 23 for the first test against Argentina and also the Wallabies squad that has just come out. So we're going to chat a little bit both about that. But the first thing I want to pick your brain about, Hulla, is about this incredible new centre pairing of Bundy Aki and Shone Tuipulotu being named in this first test match. So when thinking about those two friggin' bulldozers in the centres, what are your thoughts about this pairing and how you think they're going to go?
Well, what did we say? We said that a couple episodes ago that the British Irish Lions are coming to bash. And that centre pairing is exactly what you want if you want a couple of bash brothers in the middle there. You're talking about two of the most dynamic centres in world rugby right now. Look, Bundy Aki has been at the top of his game for a very long time. That fella is a different beast, man. Sione, he's really come into his own this season, and them together is, I'm just saying, a British and Irish Lions team with a Kiwi and the Aussie, Tongan, Samoan. I'm just saying what you want, bro. I mean, the breeding ground out here is something else, or out there is something else. But I'm all for it. For me, it's nice to see two bigger centers that love to crash, that have the ball handling skills. But it just gets me excited, especially coming up against Argentina first. Wait. Bruh, I'd hate to be wearing a blue and white jersey at 12 or 13 because I don't need that. Miss me with that.
No, 100%. As people will talk about the physicality and the aggression that comes out of Argentina, but I think when you're running against those two guys, is you can just forget all that smoke and just it's going to be great.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, honestly, these guys, while we can, we know that their size and their ball skills are great, but people miss their finesse is disgusting. They'll make the ball pop out of three people tackling them out of nowhere. They've got very good steps. They can both go to the left or right, double-footed. They can switch out. Like, you don't know what they're going to do. So, you get a very confident team in Argentina. Like, we want to be violent. We're going to bash them. Yeah, cool. That's not going to work here. You can, if you're trying to bash them, you lose this. Do you know what I mean? So I think we're going to be seeing Bundy and Siones. We know what they can do physically, but I think the world will start seeing their finesse. And I think perhaps this is a good indicator into what we're going to see coming in, like with this new look British and Irish Lions. It's going to be slick rugby, man. And I'm really looking forward to it.
One comment I thought was really funny that was coming out of Joe Schmidt and his camp was that he was cheekily describing them as a Southern Hemisphere centre partnership.
Exactly.
That will be pretty formidable, which it is, but I love that he's brought out that comment. He's kind of throwing that shade.
Yeah, good. And it's always should. Let's recognize it, right? Like, I think the rugby development over in the Northern Hemisphere has been really evident. But, when your foundations are out here, baby, that's all I'm saying, bro.
It's going to be good. I think the one thing... Yeah, Joe Schmidt does get it. It's going to be great because when talking to them in the media when they were named, Shone and Bundy, they were both saying that for them, they want to see how they work off the ball together, how they connect. Outside of that, they know it's going to be their first game together, so they just want to play the space and play fast. And I think especially around that 23 that was named, they're definitely going to get the opportunity to do that. It's not just going to be them crashing and everybody else getting to work off the ball. There's going to be, like you said, a lot of variation, a lot of animation. There's going to be a lot of different pictures and different opportunities they can place. So even though every test match is different, it's going to be great to see them come out. So speaking on that, were there any other players that you saw named in that 23 that you were really excited to see in that Lions
Bruh, Henry Pollock coming off the bench, baby. That's my boy, bro.
He's a
monster, bro. He's a beast, bro. Also, I thought Pollock was South African, but
he just looks that way.
You see what I did there? I was trying to wrap about to the whatever, man.
Winky wink. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we move on,
Henry Pollock, man. How about you? What about you?
I think getting to see Tag Furlong come off I believe he's coming off the bench as well, isn't he?
Cool.
How would you say?
I know who Tag is. I was just like, oh, what's that guy? And then I was like, oh, I bet you know I bet you know the name. You just didn't know how to spell it.
No, cool. Absolutely not.
Tadhug.
It's when I was watching the episode of My FM when Nixon saw Chihuahua, the word, and he was going Chihuahua, and he was like, his producer is saying sound it out phonetically, and I was like, he did, and he failed miserably. And then
bro, that's like today. I just realized Italy at Century City is Italian eats.
Oh no!
And then I remember when we were in Vegas a couple of years ago. I remember
they had an Italy too,
and I was like, why are they called? Is it just? I mean, cool. There's pizza and pasta. I was like, oh my!
You're turning left and right and going.
Today I'm at Century City, and I was like, dog, it's Italian food.
It's all Italian. It's all Italian food.
Oh, so look, I ain't throwing rocks and glass homes, bro. You get me?
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, well, the one person I am really excited to watch, though, is Marcus Smith at the 15 jersey. Yeah. I think, obviously, you can place him back in a 10 if that's something that you need to do mid-game. But seeing him in that 15 jersey, open space, especially against an Argentinian side, it's going to be awesome to see that happen.
What I dare say, if the Sone Tupulotu and Pandi Aki center pairing works, I wouldn't be surprised we start seeing Marcus Smith at 10 and then perhaps dropping to a 12-13 or interchange with those two, because while Marcus Smith, people like to hit him, I think once you've got those two guys there that can go in as a ball handler, you might start seeing him running, second, third man plays from the 12-13 role, which would be freaking amazing to see too. So he's I like him because I don't like him. Does that make sense? Like, bro, you're that good. I don't like you, but that's why I like you.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Plus, he's handsome as shit.
He is handsome as shit. It's going to be. It's also another thing where you watch him on the screen, you go, someone just smash him, please.
Yeah. But I always think about when you come on the field and he reminds me of this guy that I used to play against. And I just remember, I had no reason to dislike you. You were just very good looking, really nice, and a heck of a rugby player. And I was like, bro, I don't like you. You've got it all. Damn you.
He's got everything. Okay,
yeah,
well, let's chat about
last.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I would like Derek Barnes if I was standing across him as well. I look at it, but he's lovely fella.
So nice, such a good dude, bro.
that makes it worse.
Dude. Yeah, I could get great work color.
Yeah, God. Okay, well, let's finish off and let's chat lastly about the Wallabies squad that was just named recently. So a lot of interesting selections and a lot of people that were left out that I was a little bit surprised about. So just first, before we dive into specific names, anyone you really enjoy to see being named in this particular squad?
Well, how about you? I'm always leading off. How about you lead off? You tell me.
Well, I think Will Skelton, I'm glad that he was named, being I think Joe Schmidt's done a complete U-turn in what he's done previously. I think a lot of the times he's opting for Australian-based players or players that are going to stick around, but I think he's realised about the type of test this is going to be with the British and Irish Lions. Like, I was pretty surprised that Lolosio was named with him heading off overseas. Again, he's been in pretty good nick this year in Super Rugby. So we'll definitely see how that goes.
Yeah, Jock not being in there I didn't see that coming.
I think that's a huge fumble.
I thought, bro, that's the old head you need in there. And Lolosio being there and Jock not being there, it's like,
that really surprised me.
This makes sense to me, though. Make this make sense to me, you know? So you won't pick someone that isn't Australian-based, but you will pick someone that's leaving. Like, it's just like, bruh. But, I mean, that was my big one.
With the news that he stated he's like, this is going to be his last season with, like, it's going to be a one and done with the Crusaders. He's probably either going to come back to Australia or he's going to go somewhere else. You'd think that would also play in a factor to get selected. But, yeah, I'm really surprised with the form that O'Connor's been in. How he wasn't named is wild.
You know, I don't want to say it's biased because I've not always been the biggest fan of his. He's proven this whole the Crusaders are in the final because of him. Let's not take that out of the question. His presence on the field in the last 25, 30 minutes of the games that he's played have been instrumental, right? So you're talking about a guy that's already represented the country now missing out, and he's playing a Super Rugby final. Do you know what I mean? Like, no offense to the other inside backs, and he's superior than you right now, and that's like I can't not view it that way. Do you know what I mean? Short of Hunter Baisami, Tom Liner, bro, he's killed it. Like, bro, he's absolutely killed it. So, and 10, 12, or 15.
Yeah, a lot of versatility.
I just I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. But I feel for him, bro. I'm sure that was a knife to the heart. I'm very sure of it. But yeah, man, that shocked me, bro. That shocked me. And I'm really interested to see how much game time Nella plays. Because, Brad, that guy has had a season.
Yeah, he's had his struggles. Okay, well, last thing I want to chat to you about is the high number of Western Force players named in the side. Like, not to say that the Western Force haven't done well this year, but I was very surprised to see such a big contingent. You've got
Which goes back to my point. If you're not in the super fucking final, like, how is Jock not there? It just doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, my bad. Razzle dazzle, baby. Razzle dazzle.
What's that video? It's like on social media where this woman, she's losing her mind over this girl being picked up over her from this guy. She's like, I need to calm down.
I just gave you your viral clip of the week, bro. Start with razzle dazzle, baby.
Just make it make sense. Yeah, you got Ben Donaldson, Harry Potter, Jeremy Williams. You've got Carlo Tizzano. You've got even Nick White in there. It's been, yeah. I can see Darcy Swain in there because they're struggling for locks, and Darcy Swain's been killing it. But yeah, there's a couple of players in there that I'm like, how's this happening?
Look, man, in Schmidt we trust, but I'm glad I switched my opinion to the British and Irish Lions winning 2-1 now. Had I double down and then saw this squad, I'd triple down just because because that's who I am. I'm stubborn, but I'd know secretly all bets are off the table.
You saw the light. You saw the light where I was pitching it.
Yeah, the brown light in the centres. That's what I saw for the British and Irish.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a scary duo. Okay, let's move on to our second half segment and let's chat all about Moana Pacifica. Surprise, surprise. We want to chat about that again because humongous news came out this week. Ardie Savea has made the decision to take a sabbatical. This is in his contract over to Japan to miss the 2026 Super Rugby Pacific season. He is going to be heading over to Kobe again and playing for that side where he had a tremendous performance with them. But it does provide a pretty big blow because Savea's presence this past season has made a huge impact on Moana Pacifica in 2025, led them to their best season to date, like top 6 contenders. They were this close to being in the playoffs. It's going to be a huge blow. So when you saw this, other than you, bawling your eyes out. What were your thoughts about this?
Truthfully speaking, from a business point of view, well played to Moana PR team. First off, bringing the news that we're releasing 15 players. So that automatically shows they're creating budget. So I dare say, not that I'm in the coach's room, that they're planning on 27, 28. That's when they want to win Super Rugby. The sabbatical opens up money. Nani Lamape coming, obviously, is going to be a big part of that budget. But we said it a couple episodes ago that they're really putting in some effort now. So I think from a business point of view, the sabbatical obviously would have had to have been in the contract when he first signed, but this has come, let's think, so he would have signed this deal maybe a year ago, right? A year and a bit ago. So they've set out a 4-year plan. And within that 4 years of Ardie being here, is he will ride off into the sunset winning a Super Rugby championship with Moana. So my first initial thought was I laughed because I thought this is hilarious. This is such a good, it's been a while since we've seen good business moves in Super Rugby, truthfully speaking. And you're talking about a team that doesn't have any feeder clubs. Do you know what I mean? Like, so this is a young Super Rugby franchise, and I'm disappointed he's leaving because he has made a big change. I think that could determine how we play next year, depending on any more signings. But it's not a blind hope. I'm very sure 2026, the season from 2026 season will be a good building more foundations, and that 27-28 campaign will win Super Rugby. And this is going to be an awesome thing to throw back to when that happens, because I called it.
You did call it, and it's going to be something that is going to be very interesting to see unfold, because I can understand his also timing for it as well, is like you're getting the build up to the Rugby World Cup. He's still eligible for the All Blacks, even though he's going to be playing in Japan because it is a sabbatical. I think the one thing now that Moana are really going to go back into is they will now have to reorg that leadership group again. You don't have Ardie leading from the front. You do have Nani, who's an experienced person coming into that, but I don't know if he steps foot straight into that leadership group. I don't know what the picture is going to look like. It's going to be interesting to see how the team does perform. I do have pretty high hopes for them, but they're going to have to make 3 significant signings in this offseason to make sure that they hold the momentum and they keep everything going.
Yeah, they're gonna need to. We need a 10. Like, let's not sugarcoat that. Like, the boys have been doing well, but if we want to step to the next level, we need someone that can really. Or the boys there just need to put in some extra work in the off season. We need another center, especially a playmaker. 13 would be nice, and I just saw he just resigned. Samoan fella. I'm having a mind blank now. Miracle?
Yeah, Miracle Failangi. Yep.
Yeah, he just resigned. That's great. We need another loose forward. We have to. His Ardie leaving. We need another loose forward. That's crazy. And we need. Dare I say it? Maybe a front row or two that are a bit more mobile. I think that's where we lacked this season. But yeah, man, I'm hopeful that there's going to be some more signings. But if not, though, again, the bigger picture is working. And I love this. I definitely see it working come to 27 or the 28 Super Rugby campaign. And I agree. Smart on Ardie taking a sabbatical before the World Cup.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if anything, he's a very smart fella, and he knows he's got his ducks in a row. So he's able to get everything sorted out. So one question I did want to pose to you, we haven't spoken about this. This is something that has just kind of popped into my head. It's going to be a question for you that I'm interested in hearing. So we've got the sabbatical system at the moment where you can build into their contracts. You can take that year off. But I know other people previously have spoken about a system where private ownership comes into play for Super Rugby and other things like that to pump more money into this competition and hopefully keep a lot of our stars in Australasia and keep continuing to grow it. So do you think that this sabbatical model is the way to go, or do you think potentially private ownership would be the way to go?
No, I've been hands down, mate. I've been hands down for private ownership. We've got people running. This is a company. All Super Rugby clubs are companies that are run terribly. Super Rugby loses money. It's stupid. Do you know what I mean? The reason why we have so many players going abroad, because it's more money. But guess what comes with more money? More exposure. With more exposure, you're getting more sponsorship. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a business model that's failing and it needs to change. I have been very vocal about private ownership. Now, that comes with a lot of conditions. Do you know what I mean? I don't want some other country billionaire who knows nothing about rugby, unless in the contract the director of the whole franchise or the CEO or whatever it is has, you know what I mean, runs it appropriately. But the sabbatical thing doesn't work. I don't like it. I think it's stupid. I understand it from a player perspective and I respect it highly, but I guarantee you they're not taking sabbaticals if they're getting paid like $3.5 to $5 million a season. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you, the players union, that dynamic changes with private ownership. I guarantee you that healthcare and, all the perks start changing. We're going to see, for me, private brings a whole lot of problems. Private ownership brings a whole lot of problems, but it also, we live in the States, bro. We've seen how these athletes are treated. Rugby players deserve to be treated way more better than, I think rugby is the hardest sport in the world. Physically on the body, they need to be treated just like they are here, if not more. So I'm all for it, bro. And I'd like to have a chat with current players that think, the average wage in Super Rugby is about $275 to $345, right? The rookie contract over here for an NBA player is $900,000, bro, for 7 to 8 minutes of gameplay. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's like private ownership, while it's going to bring a lot of problems that'll need to be, directed, we'd have to look at them. I can't see any rugby player, if we get the median wage up to, $900,000 a year, if you're coming straight out of like an academy and you're starting on 500,000-600,000, that makes you want to stay here a lot more than wanting to uproot your family. Do you know what I mean? But on the flip side to that too, that means these clubs can now, if we've got club championship coming next year, that means the Reds off season, they've got the money to afford, let's go to Europe. Let's play Leicester. Let's play Bath. Let's play, Toulon. Do you know what I mean? We're not doing that now. That was longer response than I thought I was going to give, but I'm 100% all for it.
I agree. I think from like just general insight, I think the typical wage ranges from like a 75,000 to like 200,000 something. I think obviously like commercial partners and sponsorships and other things that they obtain comes into that as well. But I think when I was looking this in a couple of years ago, like the average Super Rugby salary is around 156,000, which is pretty low. But I think I agree. I think private ownership can provide us with a lot of opportunities. I think there's a lot of financial strains on franchises. Many Super Rugby franchises, I think, thinking like the Hurricanes and the Brumbies, they're experiencing substantial losses because it takes a lot for them to break even. They rely on hosting finals to ensure like financial success, which isn't a sustainable model. They're focusing on a lot of gate takings as well, where like fan engagement has decreased. It's resulting in lower attendance, things like that. So we understand that, but and limited revenue streams. They've got commercial partnerships and they've got some other things that bring in, but there's a lot of different things that they're struggling to do, as well as all the things that we can go into regarding the broadcasting and media deals. So yeah, exactly, I 100% agree. Yeah, I think this sabbatical model came in as a means to an end, so they can hold on for dear life. And Sanzar's like, keep our best players some way, shape, or form, so they don't have to lose out completely. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. This is the thing that annoys me, right? Is like, because here's the thing. The back office aren't the ones that get the abuse. For example, Ardie leaving. I know for sure. I could tell you a few of my own family members and cousins were like, man, this guy's a sellout. I'm like, yeah, bro, because he's playing on a losing side, not Moana, Super Rugby. Do you know what I mean? We just watched the Premiership, right? That was insane, that final. Do you know what I mean? He gets for 25 quid, bro. 25 quid. Good luck paying $25 to go see, you know what I mean? Like a regular Super Rugby match. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean. It's like the players are the ones that get looked at. And it's like, bro, it's not them. The back office. I want Sanzar to be Ardie Savea. Do what he did on the field with the back office. Do you know what I mean? Up your game, mate. Take care of business, because they haven't been doing it. That's why South Africa left. All those dudes are killing it. Those teams are killing it now. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a reason, because they can see that these guys don't know how to run a company. You want to make money? Get someone that knows how to run a company, mate.
And I think that was when the article came out of New Zealand rugby still losing like how many millions of dollars, and people going, it's all Mark Robinson's fault. And then you sit there and go, yeah, I mean, like he helped put together like the Silver Lake deal to get more money in, but he's not a corporate person. He hasn't come from a background of running businesses.
Exactly.
He's a professional footy player. Like he's come into that, and people go, okay, he's been with New Zealand rugby. He's done these things. Be like, yeah, but what kind of business experience does he like? Has he gone to uni and got like a TAFE certificate? And then you go, okay, cool, yeah, that's it. Like I don't know Mark Robinson's background, but I can wholeheartedly like quote that he's not the best person to come in to run New Zealand rugby and go, this is how we should run the model and get the most out of the business. So,
and like I think French rugby's shown us how it can work and can't work on to the worst and best scale. So it's not like this isn't going to be anything that we don't know. Do you know what I mean? This is something where like it can be taken. And, you know, and I've actually had this argument with someone before, and they're like, well, you know, with that comes sponsorship, you know, businesses, then we can't do this and we can't say that. I'm like, we're already going through that. Ralph Lau couldn't do something. Do you know what I mean? So it's already happening for peanuts on the dollar. So, okay, cool, bro. You want to tell me to shut up? There's a difference between telling me to shut up for $500,000 a year and $5 million a year, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, not me personally, because, bro, if I got something to say, I'm going to say it. But all I'm saying is, on average, bro, that's a very big difference. Do you know what I mean? The problems that privatization has are already happening. We've already gone bankrupt. We've already lost teams. We've already added teams they didn't work. We've already had to like buy players back from overseas, even though we said we don't want to take overseas players. Like, we're already compromising. And we're still losing millions and millions and millions of dollars. Like, wake the fuck up. It's not working, bro. Boom! Second viral piece.
That's mic drop, and we still got one more segment to go. We got to go through all this. Okay, well, let's head to our bonus point segment, because this is a perfect segue. We had a segment come out this week from Morgan Turinui on his show on Stan Sport, talking about the Premiership Rugby and Super Rugby Pacific comparison, about how Bath is a team that has won their championship, but the Crusaders and the Chiefs would walk all over them. So what I want to chat to you about is Premiership power or Super Rugby speed, different types of things we're going to go into about this competition and which one we feel is superior in our eyes. So I think first off, I do want to throw a disclaimer out and one thing you'll probably agree with as well, is that they're two very different styles of play and two very different competitions. I think when you look at the North and the South, the Southern Hemisphere style is very free flowing. It's more ball in hand. It's not set piece and territory like it is in the North. And that's why people have made comparisons from international teams about why we struggle against Northern Hemisphere sides. But I think if you look stats versus stats on their argument that Morgan made about the Chiefs and the Crusaders being a superior side, it does hold its weight, in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, because I think he said, Chiefs, Crusaders destroy Bath, Leicester,
Northampton, Leicester,
Toulouse. Yeah. Leinster. Yeah. Look, I agree with that statement for sure. For me, it comes down to the environment. Honestly, dry weather, Super Rugby teams win every day of the week. A little bit of Jew, though, outside of the Chiefs and the Brumbies, actually.
Yeah, they do have cold weather. Yeah, so they do struggle with that a bit.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, and maybe the Crusaders. I don't know, man. I'll be really honest with you. I think a Northern Hemisphere team wins the first year.
So if you're just stacking Bath against like Chiefs, or are you talking about like the whole competition as a whole?
I don't think Bath. No, yeah, I just think a Northern Hemisphere team will win. Having said that, though, again, the Chiefs are on another level, bro. Like, this is probably the best club team we've seen since maybe the Blues era of, Lomu, Spencer. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I agree and don't agree. I'm 50-50, honestly. I think it really just comes down to what's the environment we're playing in, because that's the differential for me, as opposed to, because like you said, there's strengths and weaknesses on both sides, but both hemispheres know how to exploit and get the most out of their
Well,
conditions.
yeah, no, I totally agree because I think when you look at Super Rugby as a whole, they are more skill orientated, whereas the Premiership is more tactical. And I
Hmm.
also think you have things, if you look at the style of play, Super Rugby Pacific teams mostly are focusing on gaining ground and scoring tries from set pieces. And the data shows that teams like the Chiefs and the Crusaders are among the best in the world at scoring tries from line breaks, where I think if you take a look at the tempo, the approach, and I think for the Premiership style, I think you've got some of the most gifted and creative minds in how to tactically win a rugby game. Where,
Yes.
not to say that Super Rugby doesn't as well, but I think a lot more energy goes into that as opposed to trainings we've witnessed at Super Rugby or going to watch teams live and chat to players that we know. There is a lot of, I guess, more emphasis on certain skills or certain ways we can bend or break a line or manipulate certain things, as opposed to if we get our possession in this area or we pin them in this region, this percentage wise is going to give us the better advantage.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so would you say that all around Northern Hemisphere teams stick to their systems and they just
Yeah,
and they play on their systems, whereas Southern Hemisphere, like the Premiership and then Super Rugby teams, we're more like, hey, this is where we're the best at, so we're gonna put ourselves in the best way to get this so that we can do our shit.
I agree. Yeah, I personally feel like New Zealand has done so well for so long because they can go in and out of that, where they can come into a game, they have a system, but then they can also break away and they can have that freedom and that
Yes.
creativity to play in their own way or just play what's in front of them. Where you see teams like the Waratahs or you see teams maybe like the Reds, where no like diss against Darren Coleman and other coaches that have come into the Waratahs previously. Like last year, they had a great system, but when they got put under the pump and when they were under pressure, they kind of just stuck to the system even when it wasn't working, where they didn't have a card they could play. They just kept
Yep.
going, all right, we have to keep just rolling the dice and hoping that it continues to work. Where now I've started to see under the leadership of Dan McKellar with the Waratahs, they've still stuck with the system and they've made little variations, but they're still stuck in their ways.
Yep.
They've just been able to
Yep.
create more opportunities because now they have Joseph Suoliti and other people who are making things happen for them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy you said. I think that the one thing that, as you were talking, you hit it on the head. The Premiership rely on team, and they know that if the team just clicks and they just keep running, it'll pay off. Whereas in the Super Rugby, we've got our superstars, and that freedom that you're speaking of. Like I see the Premiership as the Australian team sometimes is what the Kiwi teams do well is like, oh man, we just did a high kick to get out, but old mate dropped the ball. Let's just see if he's having an off game. He is. And there's that freedom you're talking about. Whereas with the Aussie sides, Waratah's a perfect example. It's like nothing's happening. The Suoliti does something. But because they're not used to having that freedom, since Izzy Folau, honestly, and Bernie at 10, you know what I mean? He liked to play that way. It's like, snap, and that's what the Premiership is. The Premiership is great watching two teams go at it. And that's what's exciting. Super Rugby is like, what's going to happen? Because, like, we can, how many games, like, Blues Moana? Blues should have blown us out of the park. Lost. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the big difference. And the Super Rugby has their superstars, and we idolize them. We hold them to a point where, like, you should change the game. And 9.9 times out of 10 for each of those teams, they do. Ardie Savea, perfect example.
Yeah, he's probably one of the best examples that you can make.
Super Rugby teams win. Stuff your team shit.
I think if you're looking for fast-paced, high-scoring games, like even though we got defense on lock as well with a lot of our teams, Super Rugby is definitely going to be your preferred place. I think if you're looking for tactical battles and rivalries, the Premiership may be preferred. I think, like you said earlier in the show, I think it would be great to see these teams face off in the World Club Cup planned for 2028. So until then, I think we're just going to have our opinions and stick with it for the next couple of years and go from there.
10 toes down, Southern Hemisphere. Let's go. Stuff them.
I'm sticking with them as well. I think it's going to be very. If we're looking at the TAB and we're seeing who's going to be leading in the Club World Cup, it's got to be Southern Hemisphere leading the charge because I think The teams are on a whole nother level.
Hey, I'm taking all $57 out of my account and my savings, my life savings. I'm putting it on. Let's watch that compound interest, baby. Come on, Sportsbet, TAB, someone's got something up already. Let's go, baby.
Just leave it in there.
Turn that 57 into $57 into $57 million.
I thought you were going to say turn that $57 into $57.50 because of the odds.
Russ, oh mate, tough times in the USA right now. Bloody hell.
Indeed. Okay, well, that is our show for today. We do have our last little bit. It is, again, like we said at the top of the show, Super Rugby Pacific Final. So, Hala, who you got winning and what's the score?
2 weeks in a row, I'm going to call it for the Chiefs, plus 20, baby.
Plus 20, you reckon?
Russ, you see, that's what you said last week. And what did I text you the next morning? Told you.
Yeah, but then what did you text me right back when you saw the Chiefs play the Brumbies?
Doesn't matter what I said about the other game. All that matters is I backed your team better than you backed your team. So who's a bigger fan now?
Come on. All right, I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I'm going to say probably plus 12. Plus 12 the Chiefs are going to get it. I think just the home court advantage is going to be pretty big, but it's not going to be big enough where we can't get the job done.
Exactly. Well, I'm looking forward to, we'll be at your place watching this together. And
fun.
So I get to tell you I told you so in real life. It's going to be amazing. I'll videotape it. So I'll videotape it. What? I'll record it so we can post it on the socials.
You got your VHS camera out there. You got your little camcorder.
My age is gone now. People thinking I'm a nice 25, 26.
I'm just picturing you being like Shaquille O'Neal holding one of those cameras at the dunk contest, just like with his face out, just going, oh my God.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for having me, Teach.
Of course, brother. Anytime. All right, we'll tune into this weekend's Super Rugby Pacific Final. Also, first test of the British and Irish Lions. If you're on this side of the world, we will be watching it at midday on Friday. It's going to be a good cracker of a game, okay? But thank you for tuning in. We've got some great guests coming up in the next few weeks. We will see you soon.